I think if we start seeing, schools in China, and we're hearing that, 12-year-olds in China are basically operating at college levels of intelligence because they've converted their system to AI, I think we'll start to convert our education system to AI. But that's what it might take, right? We're not going to just proactively start to say, hey, we have AI learning in every single school now. We already have evidence that it works, right? Like you learn 5x faster in like 30% of the time.
But do you think that they're actually learning, or do you think that they're just applying AI as in lieu of their brain?
No. Have you seen these studies? They're freaking insane. So basically, if you're really into soccer, you are into soccer, right, Jay?
I like soccer.
Yeah, you like soccer.
Yeah, I do.
So if you're really into soccer, it will teach you everything through the lens of soccer. So whether it's math, whether it's English, history, like it will literally figure out what your interests are, and it will teach you hard concepts in ways that you can relate to personally. So it's still teaching you the same concepts. It's teaching you how to problem solve. It's just using methods that are more geared to your DNA and to like your personality and your style of learning. So where it works exceptionally well right now is with autistic kids. But it will work really well with everybody else too. The reason why it works really well with autistic kids or people that have learning disabilities is that the school system generally isn't set up to like educate them in a way that they're capable of learning, but the AI can do that. But truthfully, even people that don't have major learning disabilities all kind of learn in slightly different ways. And we could definitely enhance that process through like personalization. What it really comes down to is personalization, not to mention the fact that what is the chance that you have the best teacher ever when you're, in a small town in Kansas? Like maybe not. Right. So everybody would have access to best in class models and education and approaches.
Is any bit of you, this is speculation, but concerned about AI being used to like feed bad ideas or with malicious intent? Like we were talking earlier about if you're just having a conversation, where should I go to eat? These are the things that I like. You could have advertisers or companies paying some sort of large language model to recommend their own restaurant over other restaurants. And obviously that's a pretty harmless example, but that could also be taken to a different degree where you have, covert advertisements being paid, or you have,
or an agenda, political
agenda being shown as though it's like the truth, even though it's more subjective. You see that a lot with ChatGPT.
Yeah, AI alignment's super important and it has to get solved. On the advertising front, my assumption is it will be fairly transparent and noted out, similar to when, I was around working in search marketing when Google was created. And I remember when they started kind of, putting those ads in, you could definitely tell. Like there was a lot of conversation back then. A lot of controversy around how they were identifying the ads versus the organic information. I assume the same sort of conversations will happen now. If necessary, I would imagine government would get involved in regulation if they needed to, but hopefully it will be self-policed. The good thing here is that we have like a relatively small number of very large model companies, and they have a lot to lose by not doing this the right way. And I don't think they're overly concerned about squeaking a little bit more advertising revenue right now. Like I think that won't be a big issue. I'm more concerned with like, someone using AI to create a terrible virus. That's the thing that keeps me up at night.
As someone who only really uses ChatGPT, what are the main like differences and arguments for and against the other main AIs?
It changes every few weeks, right? So it's like the models are all changing all the time. Everybody's really hyped right now for Gemini 3.0. It's coming out like any day.
What do you use if you have something come up and you just pop open your phone?
I use ChatGPT because it's what I used in the beginning, and that's just how it is, right? Like we get used to using something. And then now it has so much history on me that I'm afraid to change because I'm like, but it knows so much. I don't want to have to like, I want my agent to have 2.5 years of data on me. Like it knows how I like to speak. It knows like what words I don't like to use. Like it knows a lot. Like I use the pro model, right? So it has more history, more memory. $200 a month is like nothing compared to what I get out of it. So I actually think the market on the consumer side is massive. When Sam Altman puts out these numbers of how much money they're going to generate, and everybody's like, "There's no way." I'm like, "Oh yeah, he will." When AI can do anything for you, you'll pay up for it because it's like it's a drop in the bucket compared to what you're used to paying to get those things done, right? Like,
so for the people watching, what do you think are the best opportunities today for them to look into or potentially invest into?
The stocks that I'm most heavily invested in right now, Robinhood's my largest holding. I think Amazon will ultimately be the biggest beneficiary of AI and robotics long term. The shorter term trade that I'm in right now is Bloom Energy. So NVIDIA came out a few weeks ago and basically announced their new architecture of their new chips. And it's really interesting because they're moving from like a 48 volt power consumption to an 800 volt DC platform. An 800 volt would mean that you could have like bigger pipes going to the chip system so that it's way more energy efficient. And you could actually use like it's just way more energy efficient, right? And so it just happens to be that Bloom Energy is a company that has like this direct current type of energy platform that is perfectly suited for an 800 volt DC connection. So I think Bloom Energy is going to be probably the biggest beneficiary the next 1 to 5 years of data centers around the world wanting to get a direct current kind of fuel source to power their data centers. So the stock is already up like 5 or 6x in the last 6-7 months because people are slowly starting to learn this. But energy is a big part of this story, as you guys have probably heard, right? Like there's a concept that eventually the cost of AI will basically just be the cost of energy. The real story right now is time to compute. So how long does it take for you to get your data center up and running? And if you can get your data center up a year earlier or 6 months earlier because you have an energy source that works now, the amount of money that you can make in that 6 months off the compute is so insane that you would pay anything for it. You know, Bloom Energy, I guess you can say that would be my more kind of like more of a short-term speculative. I don't want to call it speculative. I did a tremendous amount of research. One of my good friends, Xianshu, has done a report on it. You guys can read it. It's on my Twitter. But that's like my big energy play right now. That and a company out of Canada called the symbol's TAC.
Transatlantic.
Yeah, Transatlantic. I think that data centers are going to move into Canada, Alberta, and they're one of the companies that's primed to benefit once data centers finally move into Canada. There was a big issue with nobody wanting to be in Canada earlier this year due to the Trump administration and due to the fact that Canada is a very difficult place to do business. So if you don't have to go to Canada, you're not going to Canada. But now we're at a point where you have to. Like, you just need to go where there's energy. And so this company, TAC, they have excessive amounts of energy that they can power data centers with in Alberta. Alberta is kind of like the Texas of Canada. It's the least regulatory burdened environment in Canada. So I think that's going to happen here in the next few months. So that's another kind of more speculative trade of mine.